everyone, and welcome to the 5th week of your creative writing class. I am your teacher, Haley Worgan. Thank you guys so much to those of you who have turned in your assignments on time. It's definitely making the grading process easier to have things turned in on time and not at the end of the semester all at one time. And that being said, guys, do not wait until the end of the semester to try to turn these assignments in, okay? Because first of all, I'm going to take off points for lateness if you have been in the class this whole time and you wait until the last minute to turn these things in. And then secondly, you're going to be very overwhelmed. I know we're kind of going through a difficult time with everything going on in the world, but we do need to try to get our work completed, especially, far before the end of the year deadline for everything, right? So please communicate with me if you are having trouble, because the best way to solve this problem and to be able to get you the best grade is to email me. And my email will be in the class notes. It will be in the PowerPoint presentations, you guys, and I want you to communicate with me. And in fact, it usually takes less than 24 hours, even on the weekend, for me to respond. If you email me. So please do talk to me. We can figure this out. I want to make sure you get the best grade you possibly can. My priority is for you to succeed and for you to really get something from the writing that you create in this class. I think it can help you, get through some of the stress and some of the difficulties during this time. Now, that being said, for those of you who have turned in some of your assignments, they are absolutely wonderful. They're phenomenal. I have noticed that sometimes sentence structure can be a little bit difficult. So I thought I would go over just kind of a review for you guys, the difference between a simple sentence, a compound sentence, a complex sentence, and a compound complex sentence today. And then afterwards we'll talk about symbols and give you an assignment. Okay? So let's dive right in, and just a little bit of review for you here on these types of sentences. So a compound sentence will be two or more independent clauses. Okay, so these are essentially sentences or thoughts, these clauses that could stand alone, but they're connected by a comma and a conjunction or a fanboy, or a semicolon, okay? Now, a complex sentence is going to be an independent clause, which again is that clause that can stand all by itself, and a dependent clause, which cannot stand alone, and they are going to be connected together in a sentence. A compound complex sentence will have two or more independent clauses and one or more dependent clauses. So I want us to talk about how to make this work. You're going to see a better explanation of this in the slide presentation attached to this video, but I'll talk about this one out loud. So I'm going to give you 3 simple sentences. A simple sentence contains an independent clause. So it's just an independent clause. We have one subject, we have the verb, and so let's take a look at these. So we'd catch turtles, then we'd release them. You didn't want them to die. 3 simple sentences. Now I'm going to connect all of those 3 simple sentences and make them one compound complex sentence, not sentence. Again, so this is going to have 2 or more independent clauses and 1 or more dependent clauses. Let's see how this works out. We'd catch the turtles and then we'd release them because you didn't want them to die. Now notice, the we'd catch the turtles and then we'd release them, those 2 parts together there, those are independent clauses. They could each stand alone. You'll see this illustrated better in the slide, okay? So look at that slide presentation. But then I've added, because you didn't want them to die. So I took the independent clause, you didn't want them to die, and I added the word because in front of it. And that makes it a dependent clause now. So again, we have the sentence, the compound complex sentence. We'd catch the turtles and then we'd release them because you didn't want them to die. Now it's your turn, okay? I want you guys to try this out. You don't have to email it to me. This is not the graded portion of today's class, okay? But I want you to try it. So I'd like you to take these 3 simple sentences and put them into one compound complex sentence using the formula I just gave you or the one in the slide presentation. I do my homework on time. I do not want to be overwhelmed. I will not regret my hard work in May. Okay, turn that into a compound complex sentence. Email it to me if you want, guys. I would love that, okay? Give that a try. You can really add a lot of variety to your writing if you decide to use a combination, of simple sentences, compound sentences, compound complex sentences, or just complex sentences. You just want to make sure you're not using run-on sentences because, grammatically that's not correct and it can really add a little bit of stress for your reader and take away from your message and your story, okay? Okay, so the other thing I wanted to go over today, I wanted to talk to you guys about using symbols in your writing. So symbols are things that, actually they can be people, they can be places, or they can be things that stand for something beyond what you see on the surface. And by that, it could be a place that's very relaxing to you. You might have noticed over time that place has changed, maybe due to pollution, right? So you could talk about that as a symbol of wear over time, of the symbol of change over time, the symbol of stressors on the environment over time. A symbol might be an old woman, who symbolizes wisdom, perseverance through difficult times. And then, the examples I'm going to share with you today are actually going to be symbols of things. Now, in both of these examples, you're going to hear about music boxes. The first one I'm going to share with you is actually by Sandra Cisneros. And I'd like you to pay attention to the way she writes this. This is a very, very small, short story. And we're going to see if we can catch the symbolism. There is a junk store. An old man owns it. We bought a used refrigerator from him once, and Carlos sold a box of magazines for $1. The store is small with just a dirty window for light. He doesn't turn the lights on unless you got money to buy things with, so in the dark we look around and see all kinds of things, me and Ninny. Tables with their feet upside down, and rows of refrigerators with round corners and couches that spin dust in the air when you punch them, and 100 TVs that don't work probably. Everything is on top of everything, so the whole store has skinny aisles to walk through. You can get lost easily. The owner, he is a black man who doesn't talk much, and sometimes if you didn't know better, you could be in there a long time before your eyes notice a pair of gold glasses floating in the dark. Ninny, who thinks she is smart, talks to any old man, asks a lot of questions. Me, I never said nothing to him except once when I bought the Statue of Liberty for $10. But Ninny, I hear her asking one time, how's this here? And the man says, this is a music box. And I turn around quick, thinking he means a pretty box with flowers painted on it, with a ballerina inside. Only there's nothing like that where this old man is pointing. Just a wood box that's old and got a big brass record with holes in it. Then he starts it up and all sorts of things start happening. It's like all of a sudden he let go 1,000,000 moths all over the dusty furniture and swan-neck shadows and in our bones. It's like drops of water. Or like marimbas, only with a funny little plucked sound to it if you were running your fingers across the teeth of a metal comb. And then I don't know why, but I have to turn around and pretend I don't care about the box, so Ninny won't see how stupid I am. But Ninny, who is stupider, already is asking how much, and I can see her fingers going for the quarters in her pants pocket. This, the old man says, shutting the lid, this ain't for sale. Okay, so I want you guys to think about, the symbolism here of this music box. How do the narrator and Ninny react to this music box? So we know that they both really want to buy this box. They're both moved by it, but Ninny is the only one who really expresses that. And the box here can symbolize a happiness that you really carry within you, right? That is not for sale. It's priceless. You can't put a price on that. And the man who typically doesn't really talk to people, he's described by the narrator as maybe being a little bit standoffish. He doesn't really approach anyone when they come in the store. Here he's sharing a piece of himself with these girls, and it's very moving. When you're talking about community, when you're talking about the idea of connecting as people. So again, the symbol of the music box, it's not just a music box. It's a gift of showing the thing that is priceless, the thing that makes you happy, the thing that makes you human, and using it to connect with your neighbors, with your community, with your friends. So that is the example of Gill's Furniture Bought and Sold by Sandra Cisneros. And I wanted to give you guys an example that I wrote. So this one is called, let's see if I can find it here, A Gift from Grandpa. His trembling hands move across the wooden box in uncertainty. What if she already has one like this? A picture of a yellow rose rests beneath the glass in the center. When he lifts the lid, the melody to You Are My Sunshine fills the room. He recalls the little girl with red hair sitting beneath the Christmas tree 25 years before. Every gift was an experience for her, and her eyes lit up with wonder as each package was ripped open and the item inside became her own. She ran around the room and hugged each family member, her small voice filled with gratitude and delight. When she arrived to him, he pulled one more box from behind his chair and handed it to her. She perched on his lap and unwrapped her final gift. Inside was a small music box with a dancing ballerina in the center. He was not prepared for her little eyes to get teary or for what happened next. She wrapped her arms around his neck and whispered, "Papa, this is the best gift I got." As things do when they are nurtured, a tiny memory became an irreplaceable holiday tradition. Years turned into decades, and every winter the old man spent months hunting for the perfect music box. Some years they were not boxes at all, but beautiful figurines with magical or even biblical scenes. He sought out anything lovely for the small girl, and when the figurines began to disappear from stores, he bought new wooden boxes with a different stock photo pressed to the glass instead. The little girl grew, and so did the collection of music boxes. Some nights she would make them all play at once. The sound was like a chorus of bells echoing in her small bedroom, her dorm room, and then her studio apartment, and finally the home she shared with her new family. If any of the songs were the same, she never told him. Every Christmas he saved it for last and watched her eyes fill with tears each time. There is something precious about the understanding of impermanence. Some gifts provide a special place for ghosts to rest once the giver vacates their body. He thinks maybe if there is a heaven, it will be somewhere on her aging face as she lifts the lid of each box for her own grandchildren. A smile fills his wrinkled face, and he closes the box. He focuses on steadying his hands as he repackages it and places it in the center of the wrapping paper. "One more song for you, my sweet girl," he whispers. Outside, snowflakes begin dancing down from the sky. Somewhere in the world, a granddaughter is saying goodbye for the last time. In his warm home, the old man finishes wrapping the 25th box and slides it beneath his chair, where it will wait until the perfect moment to to see her smile lighting up the room again. Okay, so that's my example. You know, the music box there is supposed to symbolize the love that the grandfather has for his granddaughter. I did more of a personal essay, and I've even included a fun little photo for you guys of that music box, 25 years ago. So that's in the slide presentation that is attached here. So your assignment, what I'd like you guys to do, well, before we do that, the reason I even brought this up to begin with, right, is because I wrote a novel a few years ago, and one of the best ways to add word count to your longer pieces, but also to bring a story full circle, is to use an object to really do that. And I used an elephant, so you guys can see an elephant here. And this elephant, I have my characters carry it basically from the beginning of the novel all the way to the end, and it's going to go into the next piece as well. It definitely helps you communicate a message with your reader, to have some sort of symbol, something tangible, so something you can touch, something that's actually physical, and to be able to see that change and grow with your characters over time. Okay, so your assignment is to write a short story, so 500 words, and use a symbol. Pay close attention to your sentence structure, so I'd like you to use some variation. Some simple sentences, compound, complex, compound, complex. And if you have questions about it, please let me know. Email me, talk to me about it, and if you'd like me to look at any of this in progress, just let me know. I'll be glad to help you. And one final thing I just want to say, we do have several new students in the class this week. If you just joined the class this week, this assignment is due for everyone, okay? This coming Friday, February 12th, right, at 11:59 p.m. Your previous assignments, if you just joined the class this week, only those who just joined the class this week, you guys have until the end of the month to get caught up, okay? Before I start thinking about taking off late points, okay? Communicate with me, guys. Again, email me. If you have questions and you need help, I am just an email away, okay? I know I'm not always at the school. Sometimes I've been dropping by a little bit more lately just to check in with some people, but you can email me anytime, and I will announce virtual office hours as I do. Again, this week it's going to be in the morning, most likely 8:30 to 9:30. Thinking probably Tuesday, but I'll let you know by the end of the day on Monday. Okay, thank you guys again so much, and I hope you have a fantastic week, and I hope you enjoy writing these short stories. This can be fiction, just so you know, or it can be a personal essay. 500 words or less, guys, and make sure you use a symbol, okay? To just show something important in your story. Go beyond the actual object. Let it symbolize something bigger, okay? All right, have a great week, and I will see you again next week. Bye.